Hello, and welcome to the M3 Bearcast. My name is Malcolm Travers. Male Media Mind is a grassroots organization dedicated to uplifting and unifying our community through dialogue, insight, creativity, and knowledge. And I'm speaking with Jameson, one of our latest contributors to the M3 Live broadcast. On the M3 Live broadcast, which I host at youtube.com/malemediamind2 every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I discuss issues around communication, relationships, spirituality, and mental health. And in this episode, we're actually discussing some of the topics that I post on social media. We were talking about one aspect of dating in the modern world, ghosting. And it branched off into a discussion about how soon should you have sex with someone that you're just first starting to get to know. Then we explore the topic of pseudo-intellectual Negro nonsense. This idea that because you distrust authoritative sources, do you turn to more conspiratorial thinking and then spread misinformation online and to the people around you. I hope you enjoy the conclusion of my conversation with Jameson as a new contributor to the M3 panel.
Have you ever ghosted someone to avoid conflict, or do you believe in giving people honest closure? In between, and very much in between. Some people don't need that closure, and there's other time people that need to have that moment where, hey, this is boom. I won't even say avoid conflict. Sometimes that I won't leave in the situation that where it is can be at times the best solution, because there's situations where between people where like it's going to be an ongoing cycle. And it's no point trying to diffuse it or anything, because like I said, it's gonna be continuously. It's gonna be you don't waste your time. So you might as well just walk away, catch that taxi and mind that business.
That's not big yellow taxi. I get it.
I have to be honest, and I feel guilty about it, but I'm a dirty ghoster. I ghost people, and it's mainly because I'm avoidant. I wish I didn't. I wish I could.
James, I'm so shocked.
I feel bad about it, at least. I do.
I have been telling you about this behavior for years. Let me just tell you what I've told you.
Oh, God.
I'm in public. Now, I can't say that. Okay. This is what happens when you've been knowing your homies so long. You just can't tell all their business in public. But you know better. Like, you stop being like that way. Because I believe in karma.
Yeah.
And then, now, are you talking to a motherfucker that was the king of ghosting? Because I will stop calling it. I will just... He said something fucked up me one Thursday, and I was like, I'm out, nigga. No. Next, hello. No.
Yeah.
And I feel like, especially if you're in that stage of getting to know. Now, if you're in a full-blown relationship, but if y'all met 1 week on the app, y'all been talking, even if y'all met once or twice and everything, even if y'all slept together, I think, and I've been wanting to say this publicly, people mistake length of time for strength of relationship. A relationship is not a piggy bank. You don't get time for, I've been here 7 years. I need to stay 7 more to make sure it gets right. No, the very moment, seriously, the very moment that you're not feeling equitable. And I'm going to tell you, it's you great on my nerves sometime on Wednesday nights, because you just go so far down the rabbit hole. I'm like, it has been like a long day. But one day I was eating and taking a nap behind there. I had paused the camera, and you said something that just jolted me back to life. You don't owe anybody anything. That is a construct, and I never forget this. You said that is a construct of somebody else's imagination, and I felt so vindicated. And I was like, "No, that's my friend right there."
Yeah, it's a dark thought, but it's the truth. I remember sometimes even like the idea of rights, like human rights, and I have the right to something. No, that's the thing you believe.
So what made you
go ahead?
What made you ghost people?
What made me ghost people? Or you
Look, we'll make it general. So I'm asking both of y'all. What make y'all ghost people?
I'll go first, Michael, because on top of mind. Let me tell you, there was a few things. Sometimes there were other people online that I enjoyed more. You know what I mean? That's you out there, you're dating. It's 6 niggas in line. You enjoy nigga number 4 better than you enjoy nigga number 7. Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So that's that, and it could be availability or proximity or conversation. Now, the other thing is, I like to call it being unequally yoked, because I like to think of myself as the Sally Struthers of the gay world. I will take some shit on, you know what I mean? It's just like, in the arms of an angel. You'll take on some shit. I'll bring home a puppy. Look at the puppy.
Oh my God.
I will bring home a puppy. When that motherfucker piss on my rug, you gotta go. That metaphor means like you bring home a stray, you gonna probably catch a stray. And men, James, hear me out, young buck, hear me out clearly. We don't really change. We just get older in our bullshit. And we do it better than we did it last year. But we know how to do it. Malcolm, do you agree with that?
Pretty much, yeah.
I am the same fucker I was at 30. I am just wiser and older. And let me tell you, it's like you reacting, like my granddaughter told me. My granddaughter said, my birthday was a couple of Wednesdays ago, James. So my granddaughter said,
happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much, sir. My granddaughter said, happy birthday, Papa. How old are you? I say, ooh, you know what this Wayne said to me? Oh, I can't count that high, Papa. I said, ain't nobody asked your motherfucking ass. Ain't nobody asked your motherfucking ass. And my son was like, that's your granddaughter. She ain't a nigga in the streets. Stop paying for me. Fuck her. Sometimes natural, I said that to say, sometimes natural instincts take over. And I tell this to the world all the time. Your first mind is generally correct. Don't change your mind. Go with do not change your mind. If you go, that's how the killer get the motherfucker that's running from the killer. Oh shit, I left my phone. You a mile away from the killer, now you're gonna try to go back and get your phone. Why? If your mind tells you that this motherfucker is not for me, trust that. And another motherfucking Charlie niggas is gonna come along. And you made the wrong decision, or you made the decision on what they showed you at the time. Go with that. Please, God have mercy. Now, Michael, what I know what makes you ghost, motherfucker, but tell the world what makes you ghost.
Yeah. So I don't think I ghost anyone who I've been seeing for extended periods of time, although I do agree with the idea that a relationship's length is not expressly an indicator of how deep the relationship goes. So I think that typically the ghosting happens to very shallower relationships. People who I've only been talking to maybe a month or two and maybe met a couple times at most. Do I feel acceptable ghosting?
Have y'all did the Dirty Dozen?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I try to get that in as quickly as possible. I typically don't wait. I know some people wait because they want to know if this person is truly genuine about their interest in you, or rather, either way, you're going to find out.
James, do you wait? Is there some waiting period?
Most of the time, it is because we're not in the same city. We're like whole different state. But if it's local, and it depends how fast that leg will go up. But you know what I'm saying? It really depends on the person. Sometimes it's.
What does it depend?
Okay, perfect. Love good. So boom. So you have individuals where you talk to them and you have, and this is just my perspective. So you have that feeling. You have this feeling where, you know what? I don't want to fuck you. I don't want to fuck you right yet. I want to get to know you more and more. I want to pick your brain. There's other gentlemen.
I call that the pause. The pause. You put them on pause. Go ahead.
The other gentlemen. Okay. You're something about you. It's sexually gravitating towards my penis, and then we gotta fuck. We gotta do something. And it either goes left or right, and I'm cool, whatever. Some people, if you state your true intentions with me, I'm down for cause.
True. So Malcolm, have you ghosted people more after sex or before sex? What is your ratio?
It's probably more likely to be before, and that's just simply because I don't know. Like I think that's just because of the numbers. Like I'm much more likely not to get to the sexual part, and this is also due to the fact that I'm talking about people who are a long distance, right? So if I've gotten to the point where I'm getting on a bus and a train to go see you or whatever, I put in the time and effort, and that is further down the line. And typically, in a situation like that, I will just make sure all the parts fit correctly. But yeah, I don't think sex has much to do with it. It's about the depth of the relationship. Do I truly trust you emotionally because here's the reason I ghost is it really is just difficult emotionally for me to break someone else's heart, right? To see their little heart break in half. I guess I'm just empathetic to the point where it's like hurting myself. And so if I don't feel that you're going to get much out of that, I'm not going to do that to myself in the process. I will be honest with them about why I'm not continuing the relationship. I'm not going to completely ghost, but if you call me,
I have a question before I ask you why it's on my mind.
Not pretend like I'm dead. I'm just like,
pushback is very soap opera. You know what I'm saying, James? Why are you doing this to me? Oh my God. Because that your friend the one you like so much, you said I should never left because they were so hot, which I hate you for. I should have been left. That is an instance, by the way, going back why I stayed too long because you told me.
I was going to say you have stayed too long.
That one time because you told me.
I don't agree with that assessment at all. I was there. Other situations too. But I ain't calling you out.
Oh, we're going to call it a thing. Listen, when you call a homie, right? A homie.
It was something, I can't remember the movie that Chris Rock did some years ago. But he said, and that's something that stuck with me, was like in one of those, I can't remember the name of the movie, but he had it in his stand-up too. It's just like every relationship that was something that you wanted to stay, there's always a period of time where you want to leave, but you stay out of hope to make it work. And he said, for him, he had a mathematical percentage. I don't agree with the percentage, but there's always a tail of period of that relationship. And that is the most painful part of the breakup, is recognizing that for the past 2, 3, 4 months you wanted to leave and you didn't.
Now, I didn't look at it that way because the sex was amazing. Like, that nigga's body was rocking.
You could still have sex that's amazing and want to leave and know that it's not right.
I did. I'm telling you.
And that's just part of making decisions.
And then what happened was I just put them further and further back in.
Yeah.
And Malcolm was like, think about that.
Yeah, that's funny.
There's individuals, even in Columbus, where I had to cut it off because it just got too much.
What's too much?
And walking inside my apartment, I had another the door was unlocked. I had roommates at the time, and I guess my roommate left it unlocked. And so he walked inside my apartment and walked inside my room. My friend was there, and I was there, but I was in the shower. So I was my friend playing the game, and he see him, they see each other, he just left. I don't like that. You're invading my space. I wasn't expecting you. You didn't tell me that you was coming over, and for you tonight, man, on my side, you didn't send me no text, nothing.
Yeah,
because the whole idea was the pop up, nigga. Hey,
no, I don't do no pop ups. I don't do that. That's like it's a trigger to me because my ex.
Let me tell you something to those who pop up. You're gonna get what you're looking for. You're gonna get exactly what you're looking for. If you go through his phone, you're gonna get what you're looking for. If you think he's cheating, you're gonna get what you're looking for. Because your mind, even if he's not, your mind has already created the perception. You don't know he didn't know who that was playing video games on your phone. That could have been your homie from Minestrone way back. That could have been a cousin. That could have been a brother. That could have been, you know what I'm saying? Because I tell you what, if I'm ever in Albany, I'm going to bed in Malcolm's bed and don't come in here because I'm asleep. That's what it is. If we fucking family, I'm going to go in the kitchen, I'm going to get me a sandwich. I'm going to go upstairs, I'm going to go to sleep. And if you come in here, if his homie busts in there, why the fuck, Greg? I knew y'all was fucking. No, nigga, you ain't had no business in here.
I actually did have that happen to a friend of mine. It's similar.
Right.
Yeah. It's the thing.
Even if, you in the situation is what it looks like, you still have no respect people's privacy. Even though and I have to tell you this all the time, you have the right, even in relationship to personhood.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You have. One time, and Malcolm hear me clearly, one time I had a friend that let his partner mirror into his phone and they shared. That thing bothered my spirit. I'm like, who? Things I can't even get it out. I was so upset.
But that's the lack of trust and security. If you feel that you have to do all that.
I'm like, why? You don't have the right to manage your own. Why do they need to see who calling you? I could say something in a text message that don't even mention your name that could sound like I'm talking about you. Yeah, man, the sex was amazing. I busted open because our previous conversation, I gave you names and backup stuff. So this new conversation, I don't have to give you the details. Like, yeah, I busted open. I went over there about 7. I'll be over there. I told him I'll be over there about 7:30. And then so you have to be careful when you're not the intended audience. You got to be really careful about that.
One more, and then we can end it. Let's do this one.
Do you feel pressure to live up to certain stereotypes about your race, gender, and sexuality, even if you don't agree with them? Hell no. You're looking at a black man have a huge Nirvana tattoo on my chest. So no, I don't feel. But then you're looking at a somewhat stereotypical masculine male who knows all the words to the musical Evita. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't cry for me, Argentina. What the fuck I'm doing? And luckily, my father being an immigrant, my father was 62 when I was born. This motherfucker was happy to have a kid. He always encouraged me, whatever you are, be the best at it. Don't just live happy. Just live happy. Thanks, Pop. I think that's the best message that you could have left.
Yeah, I remember that. I can't remember who said this, but he said there's 42 million different black people in the United States, and there's 42 million different ways to be black. And I love Black culture, but I know that I don't necessarily fit in all the time. It surprises people when I tell them, like, I came from the South Side of Chicago. When you talk about stereotypes of what the South Side of Chicago is, it just so happens that I went to a private school when I was there. So I come out looking, sounding white, but I lived in the ghetto, like for real. So ghetto that when my dad's house burned to the ground, people ran into the house to steal things.
Right.
That's the ghetto.
That is some Chicago shit, bro.
Yeah, it is. So,
Your shit on fire, and they ran out with your shit.
I got a TV. Yeah, this is gonna burn up anyway.
Listen, all I gotta do is clean the ash off this motherfucker. Let's go.
I agree.
Yeah.
Sometimes at one point in my life, I was insecure of who am I, what am I doing, and now I know I'm confident to say that I'm gonna be Black forever. I'm gonna be gay forever. I'm gonna be not looking like this, but I'm gonna be shaped the way I'm shaped. If I could, I wouldn't even change nothing. I don't need to alter nothing. I feel confident in who I am. Now, whoever feels like they need to agree or disagree, that's cool. But for those that need to disagree, I'll always tell them to talk to God about it, because I can't help you with anything. Can't help you. Talk to customer service, because I can't do nothing. But I think people are. I start to know that when you're confident with yourself and you can be who you are and like don't care what other people say, I think that bothers people. People's confidence can bother another person because they want you to be annoyed. They want you to be irritated. They want to pick at you until you explode and have a reason to explode.
That has been a huge problem in my life, James. Them uncomfortable because I don't fit into their box.
I've noticed. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I could take it from the other way. So I've noticed that when I was unsure of myself, when I was meek and timid about who I am and didn't express my opinion much, people like that. People like meek people who are not confident. Yeah. And so the reverse is definitely true. If you're confident and consistent in who you are, and you don't even have to do that, it feels like that rubs people the wrong way. A lot of times they will look at that as arrogance or some sort of like slight against someone else. And it's nothing like that. It's just, I don't agree with you.
And I strive to not be arrogant, or I like to be humble. Like, I'm not the sexy thing in the world. But also that's a downfall because there's sometimes I downplay myself when I should uplift myself about things like my achievements.
Yeah.
Let me tell y'all something. If I wake up in the morning and I'm feeling like I'm too sexy for my motherfucking shirt, I'm gonna let the world know. And that's the way I've always been. If I feel sexy, I'm gonna exude sexy. You know what I mean? If I think I'm the hottest thing in the room, in confidence, there is a difference. Confidence and arrogance is two different things. Confidence, I know who I am and I know what I have to offer. You know what I'm saying? I know I've been to 24, 25 different countries. I know I have life experience beyond this world. I know who I am. I know what I look like. I know what I sound like. I know who my friend circles are. I'm very confident in these things. So I don't care how I walk into a room. I'm going to walk in the room as me. Now, how you perceive that is up to you. If you think I'm an arrogant asshole, stay over there. Because if you get that vibe from me, fine. But I tell you, the other thing is I pride myself on being a nice guy. My friend, I am a friend's friend. I'm the dude you call. Malcolm called me. What time did you text me last night, Malcolm?
Like 10 at night.
Asked me to dinner. He knows I go to mass each and every Sunday. But I tell my friend, no, my brother, and I can count the number of times he's asked me to do something that is outside of my schedule. You know what I mean? So why not? It's not going to hurt. Yeah. But a lot of people don't know that side of me. They know the asshole, Greg's a dick. And then I made my stage name the talented Mr. Drayton. I do believe him.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that's what people get confused. Like, when you uplift yourself, calling yourself the talented Mr. Drayton, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. People might like, oh, so you think you're so talented and all that. I think that's hate within themselves.
Yeah, you know what? Because yes, I do Saturdays at 1 p.m. And I was telling Malcolm yesterday, when I started, I was goddamn tired. But you know what? You have to find the energy. You have to find the excitement about what you're doing. Telling the people the Supreme Court has fucked you again is not exciting. It's not happy. It's not joyful. But I have to do those things so you won't be scared. So the people that I'm reporting to won't be afraid. It took me months to find this balance. And I had to say to myself, if I continuously find joy in what you do, and James, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to respond to something that you said about your self-esteem and how you see yourself. I'm 30 years older than you, probably exactly 30 years older. And I'm just going to tell you, love what you got. Love your lips, love your hips, love your ass, love your knees. Because this world is, even if they ask you, brother, I know it.
No, they just messed up. They just messed up. If I can get a cute knee replacement and I can get back to normal weight, I'll be perfect.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you real quick. I work for a physical therapy firm, and so hit me up. We'll get you on the right path.
Thank you.
Before we go, this has been a pleasure, by the way, James. It really has.
Thank you.
And I have a video for you. Actually, I was going to do this for Wednesday, but you said you were a history buff, and this shit had me laughing. And I just want to get your take on this real quick.
Okay. Ever since I found out Harriet Tubman is not a real person, it fucked me up. I'm not gonna lie.
I decided to just hop in here real quick because this video is not for the lady who made this. I think she's made her mind up that Harriet Tubman is like a fairy tale creature. But I do want to discuss the issues for someone because I see a lot of the comments are like, "Oh my god, I knew it." This comment really gagged me. So let's unpack it.
Because her real name is Araminta Ross.
Yeah, she was born Araminta Ross. But people change their names all the time, right? We know this. So when you get to freedom, you want to change your name because they're often looking for enslaved people by their names, and you can't go and say your name is the same name that it was when you were an enslaved person, or they might find you. So she took her husband's last name, Tubman, and her mother's name, Harriet, and created the name Harriet Tubman.
She was a spy for the United States government.
This part is true. Harriet Tubman was a spy for the U.S. government, but I think you're making it seem more sinister than it actually is. So Harriet Tubman worked for the Union, the North, to help free enslaved people in the South. Because remember, the United States was too low-key two governments at the time. So she led a mission called the Combahee River Raid, which freed, historians are estimating, somewhere between 500 and 800 people in one night while raiding 3 different plantations and offering the enslaved people an opportunity to join her and go to the next place to fight for the freedom of their brothers and their sisters and their fellow enslaved people. So yes, she was a spy for the U.S. military, but not the way she's making it sound.
And they want us to look up and idolize these people. Oh, they look just like me, so I must look up to them. Stop that shit immediately.
Black Americans have every right to question the U.S. government. I firmly believe that, considering all they've done to us, the lies they've told us. That being said, everything's not a trick. There have been a lot of tricks. Everything isn't a trick. Now I'm looking at the comments, right? Like this comment I mentioned earlier. Harriet Tubman has descendants. Harriet Tubman didn't have children, but Harriet Tubman does have living relatives. They've written books. This is a book by one of her living descendants or one of her living relatives. So Harriet Tubman absolutely has very living relatives. And now I'm looking at videos like this one.
Finally, someone's talking about it because I just was saying this the other day to someone. Hear me out. That shit does not make any sense. Why would you be taking slaves underground in tunnels?
The Underground Railroad was not under the ground. It wasn't sub-earth. It wasn't below the earth. It was underground. It was a secret. That was how it was underground. But they're not tunnels going from Maryland to Canada. There is a YouTuber named FD Signifier who I strongly recommend you watch his videos. He's great. But he's coined this term called pseudo-intellectual Negro nonsense. And that's what this is. Now, I want to be clear. I am not an intellectual. I am not a historian. I'm a history buff. I like history. I am not, specifically surrounding Harriet Tubman specifically. I am not a historian. I really strongly urge you, if you're going to listen to actual historians who studied history. Harriet Tubman is a very well-documented person, a very well-documented real person who lived and helped a lot of people. I hope this helps.
Wait a minute. Pseudo-intellectual
Negro nonsense.
So I actually seen this video.
Like, I'm gonna need 30 minutes right now to unpack this because I love that. And the fact that Bob the drag queen. So I have another video next Saturday that comes from another lady who comes from a place of anger when she's talking about that lady. But I found the original video and I commented on her.
Oh yeah.
With the woman with the nose ring. And I said, ma'am, please go to school somewhere and sit down. Sit down. You ignorant. You are
so bad too.
And you're causing other people to sound ignorant. Ma'am, you are the reason for Trump. You are ignorant. And we got it.
But I think something about this also indicates how dangerous it is for the right to be fucking around with history and removing certain books from the library. So one of the things, I'm not going to be criticizing you, Greg, specifically. A lot of times people will just say it really doesn't matter if people remove certain things from the curriculum or from schools because they can always find this information in other places. The problem with it is that once you have lost faith in the authoritative narrative about certain things, you start trying to think for yourself and you don't have the expertise to think for yourself. You still need historians and credible sources to help you determine what's true and what's not. And this is just one of those times where this person ran into the wrong source and someone just said, oh my God, Harriet Tubman's not Harriet Tubman. And
why do you think they're trying to dismantle the Smithsonian?
Because
dismantle history and it's not that. And what was that? Intellectual Negro nonsense.
It's intellectual Negro nonsense.
Which is crazy. I think it's speechless that people of our kinfolk don't believe someone that historical, someone that literally was our stepping stone to freedom.
Yeah.
And even if let's even go with the narrative that it wasn't real. It feels real. It feels authentic to have someone that wanted to escape from hell, like Slavery, everyone knows slavery ain't no joke. Whether if it's the past or current slavery, because slavery still is an ongoing thing. But why get on the internet? Why unlock your phone, cut that camera on, and speak that nonsense? Why do that? And then you cozy, and then you like, you know what? I'm gonna post this, and people gonna agree with me.
James, let me tell you something. She had no rebuttal.
Yeah.
I said, just because you don't believe, because you're currently enslaved. That's what I told her. You are currently enslaved. Just because you don't believe, I bet you have never voted. I bet you've never voted. You've never stood anything, but you heard something, you regurgitated it. I said, you, ma'am, are the problem. Said, what the fuck do you mean? Hold on, Michael, because we got her and I got into a serious back and forth. I was like, I am not going to sit here and argue with an idiot because it's going to make me sound like a fool. You know what I mean? So, and she was like, I said, send me your sources. I can send you 38,000 sources. I can send you footnotes. I can send you doctoral papers. I can send you accounts from Miss Tubman's family. This woman did books. I said, go fly your ass to DC, and while it's still there, go to the African American Museum. There's a floor for Harriet Tubman.
Yeah.
Go there. And so anybody that can hear this, and you have, yes, this government has all those people, all those things. They did research on us. They treated us bad. And I tell people, this country don't fuck with us. This is the only place that they can take something for enslaved people like a plantation and make it a bed and breakfast. They will never make fucking Auschwitz a bed and breakfast. And it's on the same level as that. But now that we can buy Jordans and Coco Gauff can win the French Open, they have some, I'm a free thinker, bitch, you a slave. Let's not forget that. And let's not forget where we are. Just time gave us Barack Obama, but time also gave us the backlash to that, which is Donald Trump. So this country never forgets to let us know who our forefathers were. We were never meant to be whole people. And the fact that, and I said, you set your braid having motherfucking dyed hair from China, sitting up there with a ring in your nose looking ignorant. I hope you finished the 8th grade, you dumb slut. And then
Okay, so I was going to say, this is one of the reasons I think I'm forever going to be a fan of Bob the Drag Queen, because he was pretty respectful to this woman, more respectful than she deserved.
I wasn't.
I'm not even addressing this to her because she's lost in the sauce. This is to everyone else out here. Do not be believing in this. And he brought receipts. That's the first thing. And I think the second thing is that we have to also be flexible enough to learn when our history is different than what we thought. So there are a lot of things about Harriet Tubman that we learned later to not be true. One of the major ones had to do with like how many people she freed. And this had to do with the fact that she was a legend. Like people believed that she was worse than she was because that fear gave her power. And there was nothing wrong with that in the context of her making these raids on plantations. She actually led people through like rivers that had mines in them because she knew these rivers so well. She had traversed them so many times before. And she was a spy because she was able to navigate ships through waters that normal people would not be able to. And she had the respect of Northern generals because of lies sometimes, like legends of what she was doing. Like people inflated the numbers so much that she was like, oh my God, it's Harriet. But you can learn the truth about someone and realize it's not inherently antagonistic when something isn't true. Sometimes it's just a legend, but there is a truth. And crazily, history is something that we're still going to learn new things about things that happened in the past.
History is always consistently going. Every single second, history is always in the making.
We're learning new stuff all the time. We're digging up new artifacts. We learn new stuff all the time.
But and then, like you said, like it's not only in the present time. We also talking about the past. I think the past will always be brought up, and just that's why. One thing about history, it amazed me on how like you can be so educated on one thing, but something might pop out and expand on a whole new level, and then you have to attack that. So like you gotta be on your P's and Q's, but
absolutely. And that'll do it for this episode of the M3 Bearcast. I hope you'll join us for the M3 live broadcast at youtube.com/malemediamind2, where you can join Jameson and Greg and the rest of the panel as we break down a lot of more topics like this. If you would like to be a supporter of Male Media Mind, please consider becoming a patron. You can go to patreon.com/malemediamind. There you'll gain access to our Telegram groups, our Discord servers. We have a book club, and we're always looking for new ways to show our thanks to our supporters for their financial contributions. If you'd like to support M3 without a financial contribution, of course, you can always rate this podcast, share it on social media, or tell a friend about it. I appreciate you listening, and I will catch you in the next episode. Peace.